Hello everybody, my name is Marlo and today I'm going to show you how to build this mountainside survival base, where on the inside we have basically everything you could need for the early game of survival Minecraft. But before I show you how to build this, let's go through the materials list first of all. And here it is. So everything inside of this double chest is to the exact amount needed, with the exception of this top row here and also the stack of scaffolding. The scaffolding is simply here to help you build it. You're going to need something to stand on whilst you're placing the outside blocks, so whether you use scaffolding or just grab a stack of dirt and use the old school method of scaffolding, whichever you had on hand is all good. But then along this top row we have stone, which is what we're going to be using in a lot of the walls, just to smoothen things out a little bit. But do bear in mind, if you have a silk touch pickaxe, you're obviously going to get quite a lot of this from digging it out, probably more than you need. So we're going to use some stone that doesn't have an exact number, and then the other three that don't have exact numbers are stripped spruce logs, oak planks and ladders. And that's because the way you get into this base is basically through a trapdoor on the surface of the mountain, and then you go down into the survival base. So depending on how low down or high up you've actually put your base will depend on how much of this resource you actually need. So just grab probably this amount and it should be good, but you might need less or you might need more. As for the rest of the materials list here, we have some spruce stairs, spruce trapdoors, stripped oak logs, oak slabs and then oak buttons. We then have some stone stairs and 4 andesite walls. Andesite instead of stone because currently, at the current time of recording this video, there is no stone wall in the game. But then we have 23 glass panes, which you could of course make into a coloured variant if you would like to. And then we have some miscellaneous blocks here with the lanterns and the chains, and then 2 flower pots, which of course you need 2 flowers to go inside of them. We then have 4 dirt and a couple of water buckets to actually hydrate the soil, which of course you're going to need a hoe to actually till the dirt itself. And then basically everything along the bottom here are just all of the blocks that are going to be helpful in survival. I'm just doing a quick scan over now in case you're not sure as to what some of them are. This base has 2 requirements. The first one is you're going to need at least a 15 by 7 flat surface area on the side of a mountain. The second one is just make sure that mountain has a top that's easily accessible. As I said whilst going through the materials list, that's how we're going to be getting into the base itself. So if you want to use the same mountain face as I have here, this is the world seed and these are the rough coordinates. There's also a couple of other good spots around here that make a good place to set this up. First things first, we're going to figure out the roundabout area where we want to build this in and make a scaffolding tower with a platform just in front of it, so that you have something like this. However, I'm in creative, not survival mode, so I'm going to go ahead and break this. So the first thing we're going to do is grab our stripped spruce logs and place down 4 of them facing forwards like this, and we're going to leave a gap of 3 in between them all, so the third one can go here and the final one over here. We can then grab our spruce stairs, and on these top 2 we just want them facing upwards like that, and then copy it on over to the opposite side. But for the upside down ones, we basically just want to flip it on its head and have them upside down like so, and you should eventually end up with something looking like this at the moment. And then we can grab our stripped spruce logs again and basically connect them from one stair to the other, going all the way around, and eventually that will complete your first circle. You can also grab some oak buttons and just place them all on the front of those blocks. And now we can work on the 2 smaller circles on either side, and these are the same, so I'll just show you how to do one of them. But we're going to place a temporary block here in the middle of these 3 stripped spruce logs and just cover them up with trapdoors like so. You can then go ahead and break that block. But then we're going to place in some spruce stairs in basically the same pattern as what we have for the big one. So 2 upside down on the bottom and then 2 correct way up on the top. So we have something like this, which is very similar but just a smaller version, as I said. And then basically just add in our stripped spruce logs, and that is the smaller circle done. You can then copy it round to this side too. Next up, you can go ahead and place in all of your glass panes here, here, and of course in the center here. But I'm just going to do the 2 smaller windows for now and come back to the larger one later, just because I want to be able to easily access in and out of the base whilst we build it. But the next thing we need to do is take back all of these stone blocks that you can see on show by 1, 2, 3, and 4 blocks. And once you've got that done, we then want to break the 4 blocks here just behind those front-facing pillars and replace them with strip spruce logs. Just like that, and then we want to break the 3 here that will connect them both and place in 3 more on either side, just like that, and then we can also go ahead and get rid of all of these on the back face. Then we want to come to the center block here and just place in the strip logs going all the way up to the surface, and then pretty much we want to break our way up to the mountain surface this time. So obviously you're not going to be able to fly here like I am in creative, you may have to come up to the mountain beforehand and dig your way down. But basically all we're going to do here is this back block is going to become strip spruce logs, and then these other 3 sides are going to become oak planks. And of course we're going to have our ladders on the strip logs, but you can do that all the way up to the mountain surface. And then lastly, you just want to have your trapdoor here, and that is how you're going to get into the base. And back out of it, of course. Once you've got all of that done, we can then place some furnaces along here. So we're going to have 2 smokers at the bottom, 2 blast furnaces above, and then the rest on top can be regular furnaces. Obviously, if you'd rather have all normal ones, you can do that, it's truly up to you. But next up, we're going to look at the ceiling here and break this block and replace it with a crafting table. Now, the crafting table underside actually has the same texture as an oak plank, meaning if you place the rest of the oak slabs on top of the ceiling here, you can have a sort of hidden crafting bench, which doesn't really mean anything, it just is kind of cool. Next up, we're going to grab all of our barrels and sort out the main bulk of the storage, which is going to be going here in the floor. And what we want to do, instead of placing the barrels in like this, is we actually want to get the upside down texture. This one right here. So what we're going to do is break the floor down by 3 blocks in total for all of these. And then actually hop down into this little area and place all of the barrels upside down. Just make sure you have this texture facing you and not one on the side like that. But once you got all of them placed down, you may want to fill this in just so you don't get mobs spawning in here and making noises whilst you're trying to live in your survival base. Definitely just make sure you fill in these front 6. But as you can see, that right there is our new floor, which is functional and can store items still. And same deal with the crafting bench. Doesn't really help at all, just looks cooler. It's now time to start expanding to the right and to the left of the base here, but both of these are virtually the same for the most part, so I'm going to show you how to do one of them and you can either copy it on over or build them both at the same time. It's entirely up to you, but the first thing to do is break all of these stone blocks back by 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. And as you can see here, this final section is actually revealing the outside, which obviously isn't a good thing, so we need to do something about that. We're going to grab our full stone blocks and have 2 here in the corner with an andesite wall in the center. And same deal over here, just 3 blocks in between the wall we just placed down. And on the bottom, we're going to have some stone stairs, and on the top, we're going to have some upside down ones. So from the outside, it looks like this, or from the inside, it looks like this, and from the outside, it's nicely covered up and looks identical to what it was before. Just next to this stone block here, we're going to put a chain on the spruce log with a lantern down below. Of course, they'll copy it on over to this side too if you're going about things that way, but this just provides a little bit of light in here as it is awfully dark. But we're going to grab 2 dirt blocks and just place them right here next to the stone block, and then we can have 2 upside down stone stairs above it like so. We can then break this block here in the corner and then quickly place a water source down with a strip spruce log in front of it, and then just bring that up by 2 more, and then if we just hoe our dirt here, you can see that is nicely fertilized and hydrated by the water source in the corner. We can go ahead and place whatever crop we want on top. I'm going to have carrots over here and potatoes over there. And then finally, just cover the front up with 2 spruce trapdoors. These 3 trapdoors that connect the big circle to the little circle actually make for a nice spot for a flower pot. So we're going to put one in there. And then we can turn around to this log here on the bottom, have an upside down spruce stair with another lantern on top, just to give off even more light. And then finally, what we want to do here, on all of the stone blocks on the ceiling, just cover them up with some spruce trapdoors. Just make sure they're all facing the same way and you don't have one that's off like that, as it's going to look a little bit weird. Just behind this lantern here, we can go ahead and break these 3 stone blocks and replace them with some strip spruce logs, just like that. And then next up, this 3x3 area of stone, we want to break it back by 1, 2, 3, and then 4 blocks. And then we just want to break these 6 on both of the sides, like so, and we should be left with this shape right here. We can then grab our oak slabs and just have 3 across the top here, 2 on either side, and then 3 more in the middle. We can then break these 6 blocks here and replace them with some barrels, whether you want to have them facing upwards like this, or place them so that you have the upside down texture. Entirely up to you, but for the most part, that is where the identicality of these 2 sides end. Things then start to differentiate just a little bit, so go ahead and copy all of what we've done here over to the other side, and then we can work on both of these sides separately. So one of these sides is going to be an enchanting setup, and the other is going to be a spot for your bed and all of the other crafting blocks like cartography tables, looms, and brewing stands, that sort of thing. So pick whichever side you want to be your enchanting area, because that's the one we're going to be doing first. It truly does not matter. I'm going to pick the right side over here and break these 6 stone blocks in the corner, and the top block can become a strip spruce log like so, and underneath on either side we can have 2 bookshelves, and then just in front of them we can have 3 like that, same again over here, and then 5 in the middle in this U shape. That right there is 15 bookshelves, which will give a total of 30 levels in the enchanting table here in the very center. On these 3 spots we're just going to have an ender chest, a grindstone, and then an anvil. Over on the other side here, where the bedroom is going to be going, we're going to start off once again by breaking these 6 stone blocks, but this time replacing them all with strip spruce logs. No bookshelves over here. And then we can grab our 8 chests and just place 2 on top of each other, double chests that is, on both of the 2 sides. And then we're going to place down all of the blocks I'm scrolling across here. So it doesn't really matter too much how you place these, but what I'm going to do is have a cartography table, then a loom, then a smithing table, stone cutter in the middle, and then 2 brewing stands for no other reason than symmetry. And finally, our bed can go just in front of the loom. Next up, we're going to grab our stripped oak logs and basically break every single stone block on the floor and replace it with the log itself. So obviously for the enchanting area, we can just go ahead and break all of these, nice and straightforward. But for the bedroom, it's a tiny bit more complicated. The only thing I really need to mention is just make sure you get the ones under the bed and then under the chest as well. Everything else should be fairly obvious. So you should have something that looks like this in the end. Now all of mine are facing the same way, but if you wanted to, you could make a bit of a crisscross pattern and just do something a little bit different like this if you wanted to, but I think for this situation, the ones all facing the same way actually look the best. Just a couple of final things left to do. The first one is, if you haven't already, place in all of your glass panes. Like so, which obviously will look better if you have Optifine running, because these will all be connected textures and just look a lot smoother like it does in the thumbnail or right here, for example. So if you want to get it how it looks like that, just Google Optifine and install it and make sure you have connected textures on. But the very final thing to do is something that I've actually got pretty lucky with here and not found any blocks that aren't stone in the wall, but you just want to grab your excess stone and say, for example, you have something that looks like this, which admittedly, yes, I've just added in myself, but pretty much we only want the stone blocks here on show. So maybe if you had some dirt, just get rid of that, or some ugly granite, you want to go ahead and smoothen things out with the regular Minecraft stone. So that, everybody, is the tutorial all done. The base is now complete, and I really hope you did enjoy watching and you enjoy your new home if you're choosing to build this in your survival world. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.